Say that again. Oh, he's doing better. We don't have any updates on that, but he's progressing in a good place. We're hopeful to see him within the next week, but as far as an official update on when he will play, we're not quite sure yet. Just kind of waiting to see as far as him responding to the workouts and stuff he's been through. Yeah.
That's what that helped you guys heading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Balance that with the rest.
I think we want to try to get a few games with the whole team. We haven't had that. With the inclusion of Torrey, it's been, in and out as far as guys being in and out of the lineup. So if we can get Cam back, we'll have a chance to put our normal rotation together. That'll be a good thing. Say that again.
Where do you think his condition is at?
I think he's okay. I think he's still building the capacity to play in the mid-30s. But the way I look at it is I think you have to build the capacity to play past that in case you have one of those games where he and Book and Mikhail, who are pretty much our high-minute guys, and even DA, building those guys up to where they can play high 30s and maybe even 40s. Not that you would do that consistently, but I think you have to build towards that.
From Denmark, happy to be here, but also happy to see the Danish back in the league.
Sure.
I have a lot of questions from fans. It's like, when are we going to see you? How are we going to see you? I know it's just clear, but you've seen them in practice now.
Sure.
What did you see?
Well, he's got a great body for a guard, and he really shoots the ball a lot better than I anticipated. I didn't know much about him, and when he first got into the gym, I saw how easy he shot the ball, saw the body. He's square. He's got a strong build, and that means he can, take a pounding when he's going to the basket. And so I'm haven't had enough time to really dive into him on the film, but James spoke so highly of him, and we wouldn't have him here if we didn't believe that he could play. So we're excited to have a Danish player on our team, but especially in the NBA.
And we know the league, obviously, from all those years. How hard is it coming in a position to prove himself? Because one thing is what you see in the film, but also what goes on in his mind mentally.
There's a lot that he's probably dealing with right now as far as understanding what we do, the time change, bodies changing. He's got his family here. There's a number of variables that he's dealing with, and that's okay. That's normal. I think when you're highly competitive and driven, you expect all that. And he wouldn't be in the position that he's in if he didn't, or if he wasn't a guy that could overcome certain obstacles and challenges. And so we don't think he's going to struggle with that. We'll do the best we can as far as simplifying what we do so he can, if he gets on the floor, he'll have an idea as to how we operate and how hard we play.
It's pretty good. His middle name is Israel. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Last thing, expectations. What do you expect from a guy with all the things that you just put in here, or like the mental process? What do you expect?
Yeah. I just think, from my perspective, just acclimating and figuring out the culture here and what we do and how hard we play, that would be my expectation right now. That doesn't mean that he won't play. We don't know what the future is going to hold for us, but there could be an opportunity in the last few games just based on what we've done where he could play. But for now, I think there has to be an understanding of our culture, how we play, how hard we play, and then the ability to play defense at a high level every possession. That's hard for any new player, but especially a young one.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's an MVP pull out this morning. Why have the goalposts moving for someone like him? It seemed like 10 years ago, he'd be a no-brainer. He'd be the best player on the best team.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. I shake my head at the criteria. I think what's happened is we can't say that winning is a part of the equation when you've won as many games as we have. And then you have a guy playing at the level that he's played at all year long, not be in that conversation every night. I don't have a great answer for it. I scratch my head at the way they, decide the All-Star, all that All-Star game and all that stuff. And, he seems to be the guy that has been consistently left off. But I don't think it bothers Book. I think it drives him more than it bothers him, which probably is the same thing. But from my perspective, I don't have a great answer. I have no idea the metrics that they look at consistently and if everybody's looking at the same metric. It doesn't seem that way. He gets the respect from his team and he gets respect from the players around the league. I hear it from guys around the league. And when I do catch a tweet on Hoops Hype, it's always someone talking about Book being in that conversation and being one of the best players in the league.
See the players come out for you to be coach of the year? About you or?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. Again, I'm appreciative of how they feel about not just me, but our staff. And, that particular award is probably the best example of team and organization. You don't have to be that smart to realize that I'm not doing all this on my own. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of people to do what we've done this year. It's going to take a lot of people to continue to do it. And nobody's more important than the players. And so when I hear that stuff, I feel really good about it, but they know that they're the engine that makes this thing go. And I'm grateful to be a part of this.
7 games left. Talk about resting the other day, but
No.
Talk to them about it, figure that out more.
We have to have some balance there. There's the one thing we don't want to do is decondition. And you can do that. I'm learning more and more about conditioning and heart rate and how you can, maintain a certain level. We're going to put a plan together, but we also want them to be involved in it. We have some guys that love to play and they have personal goals and they have, when you have guys that want to play, you don't want to, take that away from your program, and especially the spirit and attitude that we have in our gym every single day. So we're trying to strike a balance. Not quite sure if we're going to get that achieved, but I'm just grateful that our guys love to play. I'll have conversations with a few of them to make sure that we're doing the right things by them and by us. But I don't think there's a right answer for sure. I've watched different guys do it over the years, and I don't think anybody's come up with the right template that we all can follow.
You'll talk about $63
We have not talked about it. But just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it's not something that's, on the horizon. We've always been about doing the next right thing. And for us, it's like, let's have a good meeting tomorrow. We had a good practice today. We got a flight. Let's have a good meeting tomorrow and get ready for the game and try to get 62. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that this team wants to be the new standard as it relates to Suns basketball, and they have an opportunity to do that, but you can't skip steps.
That initiation process you're talking about with game plan, you had new guys come in this season, is there anything you can take from those kind of integration processes apply here, or is it just kind of a case by case?
I mean, it's probably both. It's case by case, but you can still pull certain things from each situation to help with, the next guy that comes in, he gets a better shot at it than the guys before, because early on, you probably inundate guys with too much information. Now I'm finding that if you simplify and streamline it as best you can, it probably helps. And so we try to hit the guys as much as we can with the basics of what we do. And along the way, they'll pick up the rest of the stuff. I'm not quite sure if any of the new guys still know all that we do. And they're really smart players, but I'm sure the players talk about it. We have a lot. And we just, we've had guys in our program for 3 years. So there's things that I can call that they remember from 3 years ago that the guys that came here have no idea what I'm saying. I might as well be, teaching a German math class. You know what I'm saying? The guys wouldn't know what. So that's where you have to like simplify from my perspective. If they do get into the game, I have to think about that more than them thinking about it, because we don't want them thinking in the game in that regard. And so I have to simplify more when you're putting new guys in new situations.
Monty with Golden State, they've had a similar opportunity that you guys did where players getting out allowed them to mix other guys in. They've started coming in the last couple of games. What have been your impressions of how the rookie is acclimated?
He's a freaky athlete. I mean, when you see him get off the ground, that's a different level of athleticism. He has the ability to shoot from range. But right now, his ability to attack and finish in transition and that kind of thing is a little bit different than most, not just rookies, but most players that you see in the league. His athleticism is something that is an advantage for him almost every night. So, we got to do a really good job of keeping him off the glass and having great body position against him, like just stand between him and the basket. But I have seen him shoot it from range. He's not afraid to step out there and let it fly. Just a really good player. When they got him in the draft, it was like, holy smokes, they got a top flight player. So our guys know him well. They've seen him play. I think he was on the Ignite team. So Jared Jack was with him last year. So we had a scouting report on him way before everybody else did.
With Clay, what have been your impressions of him so far?
He's Clay. I mean, I've seen him, have nights where he goes, for high 30s, and I've seen him, have nights where doesn't look like he's been out for as long as he has. I mean, he's Clay. He's one of the most dangerous players in the history of the game, and one of the more efficient players in the history of the game. So it does take you a while to find that rhythm that you had, especially when you've been out 2 years, I would imagine. I mean, that's hard, but he doesn't look like a guy that's been out 2 years. I mean, the first game back, he went down the lane and banged it on somebody. That speaks to the work he's put in. So our guys have played against him for many, many years, and I'm sure they're looking forward to that challenge.
Finish with Dwayne on Zoom.
Sorry about that. I'm on the road, Coach. Sorry. I wanted just to ask about you guys having the best road record in the league, and you guys have a chance to have the best road record in the history of the NBA in a regular season. What has made you guys such a great road team this year?
I don't know. I've been asked that question. I can't pinpoint it to one thing. I think, one, having veterans on your team certainly helps. Most young teams don't win a ton of games on the road. I'm sure the experiences that we've all had together help. And then, just having really good guards allows for you to, be in games and close out games. But I think as a whole, the experiences we've had as a team probably have helped us more than anything. Going through the playoff run last year, I even go back to the bubble, being in that environment and watching, really young players play at a high level in a weird environment as it relates to, normal NBA environments. So I'm not quite sure there's one thing. I think there's a number of things that have helped us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.